women's sports! Save women's sports! Save women's sports!
Protesters marching outside the Supreme Court in Washington, D.C. as the justices hear 3 hours of arguments on whether or not to uphold bans on transgender athletes in women's sports. 2 cases out of Idaho and West Virginia are challenging these bans, but the rulings will set the precedent for the nation. Joining me now is West Virginia Attorney General John McCuskey. Attorney General, thanks for your time, sir. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me. How are you today?
I'm doing well. Thank you. Nobody ever takes the time to ask me that, so appreciate it.
You're welcome.
You argued the West Virginia law before the Supreme Court. Those justices yesterday on day one seemed to be in your camp on this. How did you feel after making your case?
Yeah, so the justices, we feel really, really good about the questions they asked, the thoughtfulness of all the justices, but they are mirroring public opinion as well. The other thing that we see here is that while the judges, they need to take some time and make sure that we get this right so that we only have to take one bite at this apple, the American public over the last 5 or 6 years has really started to understand the gravity of this issue, the importance of this issue. And it's an 80-10 issue, right? Or an 80-20 issue. And I'll tell you, if I get asked one more time, is it worth the time to do this for one athlete? I'm gonna explode, because that's the only argument that the ACLU has now, is that, oh, we're going to lose, but you shouldn't have taken any time to do this. And that's just so offensive to the thousands of girls in this country who've been displaced by transgender boys who've invaded their sports teams and taken over their medals, their scholarships, their NIL opportunities, and importantly, all of the incredible things that come from team sports.
Let me also ask you this. Pepper Jackson's attorney says she has not gone through male puberty. She takes hormone blockers, making the claim that she has no advantage over female contenders. Your response to that, and should that make a difference in this case, in your eyes?
Yeah, so a couple things. First of all, we're talking about a child here, and so I have an enormous amount of empathy for Becky and for this whole situation. But the lawyers for the ACLU are advocating that they gave up 2 of their arguments, right? So during the argument, they said, we concede equal protection and we concede Title IX, but we want to create an enormously tiny subset of people who should be allowed to play in women's sports, who've undergone puberty blockers at a young enough age to totally block their puberty. Take a second for that to sink in. The argument is that if we start to transition children young enough, we can make sure that they don't have any masculine characteristics. That is a very, very concerning set of arguments to me, based on the fact that we're talking about changing the gender of children as young as in 2nd grade. That is something we should really be concerned about going forward.
And as you know, Attorney General, transgender athletes say these bans are violations of both the Equal Protection Clause, the 14th Amendment, and Title IX as well. You say West Virginia's ban enforces Title IX. I mean, how should the gender and sex-based protections apply to transgender people?
Yeah, so even the ACLU agrees that our argument bolsters the entire idea of Title IX, because they understand that to start to redefine sex as it was defined in Title IX in 1972 takes a wrecking ball to the entire system that Title IX created, that has been so enormously successful in allowing women to experience team and competitive athletics over the last 50 years, and to become to get themselves into places in power in American corporations and in the government because of the opportunities specifically that Title IX opened up specifically for biological women.
And just lastly, before I let you go, can you talk to us about wider repercussions here that you think this case could have? No matter what the ruling is at the end of the day, does it open up whether other measures targeting trans people in the public sphere, public bathrooms, military service, et cetera, is this going to open up a whole new can of worms down the road with legal cases?
Yeah, I take a little bit of issue with you using the word targeting, but this particular case is really going to be, it's pretty confined to the sports area. And so what this will do is give other states the confidence to pass laws like West Virginia that ensure that women have a safe and fair place to play sports and to grow up and to enjoy the sisterhood of team athletics that everyone knows is so important to being a kid and to learning all those amazing lessons.
Attorney General John McCuskey, I got to end it there, but thank you so much for your time. I know it's been a wild week for you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Happy to be here. Have a great day.
You as well.